What if you could legally live abroad for less than most Americans pay for their car each month? Because right now, some countries are offering residency for as little as $1,000 a month in income. One of them lets Americans stay for an entire year without filling out a single application. And one option is so good for retirees that people in the expat world literally call it the Holy Grail. Stay with this, because the list gets more surprising as it goes, and the last entry might be the easiest option on this entire list, and almost nobody is talking about it. The cost of living in the United States has been climbing for years, and a growing number of Americans are realizing that the global mobility available to them is genuinely remarkable. A US passport opens more doors than most people take advantage of. This video is going to cover 7 countries right now, in 2026, that are practically handing out legal residency to Americans. Real numbers, real requirements. And before getting into the countries themselves, there is one major misconception that needs to be cleared up, because it is the single most common reason people disqualify themselves from options they actually qualify for. And that is exactly why these residency options matter right now. Here is the mistake. Most people hear the phrase passive income requirement and immediately start thinking about their savings account. They assume that having $100,000 sitting in a bank will check that box. It almost never does. There is a fundamental difference between passive income and savings, and immigration authorities are very clear about which one they want to see. Passive income means money that flows in every month on a recurring basis. A pension qualifies, Social Security qualifies, rental income from a property qualifies. Dividends from investments that pay out monthly or quarterly can qualify. But a lump sum sitting in an account, even a very large one, typically does not meet the passive income threshold on its own. $1,000 a month coming in regularly is worth more to most residency applications than $100,000 sitting still. And this misunderstanding is exactly why most people miss out on the easiest residency options available to them right now. Keep that in mind as each country gets covered, because the income requirements are where the real opportunities hide. And this first one is where most people completely underestimate how easy this can be. Starting with Portugal, and specifically the D7 visa, which has earned a reputation as the holy grail for American retirees. The income requirement is approximately €920 per month, which in 2026 translates to roughly $1,008. That is the threshold. $1,000 a month in provable passive income, and Portugal will consider the application. For context, that is less than what many Americans pay on a monthly car loan. A Social Security check often covers it on its own. In exchange, Portugal offers an extraordinarily high quality of life. The climate in the Algarve is mild year-round. The food is world-class, healthcare is excellent and accessible, and critically, Portugal is a member of the European Union, which means legal residents can travel freely throughout the Schengen area. The D7 is specifically designed for people who can support themselves financially without taking jobs from the local economy. Retirees fit this profile perfectly. Remote workers with passive income streams fit it too. The application process involves demonstrating income, showing accommodation in Portugal, and submitting documentation through the Portuguese consulate. It is not effortless, but it is genuinely accessible for a wide range of Americans. Portugal also has a golden visa program, and a lot of people confuse the two. They are not the same thing, not even close. That confusion trips people up constantly, and it is worth addressing directly right now. More on that in a moment. Spain is next. And this is where that contrast becomes crystal clear. The Spanish Golden Visa requires a real estate investment of €500,000, which in today's exchange rates sits around $550,000. That is not a passive income threshold, that is a capital investment requirement. Spain is offering legal residency in exchange for significant financial commitment, and the lifestyle reward is genuinely extraordinary. Spain has some of the best food culture, architecture, nightlife, and weather in the world. Barcelona and Madrid rank consistently among the most livable cities globally. The healthcare system is excellent, But the price of entry is a completely different conversation from the D7 in Portugal. This is not for people looking for an accessible pathway. This is for people with substantial capital who want to place it in Spanish real estate and gain residency as part of that transaction. The contrast between Spain and Portugal's D7 is one of the most important comparisons in the expat world right now. Same region of the world, same general quality of life appeal, wildly different financial requirements. Now back to Portugal's golden visa, because the rules changed and most people are working with outdated information. Portugal eliminated the residential real estate route from the golden visa program. That option no longer exists. What remains are a €500,000 investment into qualifying Portuguese funds, or a €250,000 donation toward cultural projects. Neither of these is the same as the D7, which again only requires around $1,000 a month in passive income. Two completely different programs. One is accessible to a broad range of Americans. The other is for high net worth individuals willing to deploy serious capital. Getting them confused is one of the most expensive mistakes someone can make when researching European residency. Ireland rounds out the European section and lands in a very different category from Portugal's D7. The Irish Retired Resident Programme requires approximately €50,000 per year in passive income per person, which comes out to roughly $54,000 annually. That is not a bargain option. That is a premium option, and it is designed to be. Ireland is English-speaking. It has a strong legal system, excellent healthcare, and direct cultural familiarity for most Americans. It is also a European Union member, which provides the same Schengen travel access as Portugal. But Ireland is not positioning itself as an affordable retirement destination. It is positioning itself as a simplified, high-end pathway for higher net worth retirees who want to land in an English-speaking country with EU access and not deal with a language barrier. For someone with a substantial pension or investment income who simply wants the easiest transition possible, Ireland makes a compelling case. Just do not walk in expecting Portugal D7 pricing. Which of these European options would actually make sense for a personal situation? That is worth thinking about, because the right answer depends entirely on income type, income level, and lifestyle priorities. But Europe is just one side of the story. Shift the perspective to the Americas and the barriers drop even further. Latin America has been quietly building some of the most attractive residency programs on earth for American expats, and the options available right now in 2026 are genuinely remarkable. Now this is where things start to get seriously interesting. So far, everything sounds manageable, but this is where the barriers drop even further. Panama comes first, and the Pensionado visa is one of the most celebrated retirement programs in the world for a reason. The income requirement is $1,000 per month from a pension, not savings, not investment income. A pension specifically, which in the US context includes Social Security. If someone draws a Social Security check of $1,000 or more every month, they likely qualify for Panamanian residency right now, but the income threshold is almost not even the most compelling part of this program. What makes it extraordinary is the discount structure that comes with it. Pensionado visa holders in Panama receive discounts across a wide range of everyday expenses. Healthcare costs drop by anywhere from 15 to 20% depending on the provider. Flights are discounted by around 25%. Restaurants offer 10% discounts. Hotel stays, entertainment, professional services, prescriptions, these all come with reductions that add up to real money over time. Panama uses the US dollar as its currency, which eliminates exchange rate concerns entirely. The country has a modern capital city with good infrastructure, a solid private healthcare system, and an established expat community. For retirees specifically, Panama might be one of the best pure value propositions on the planet right now. The combination of low income threshold, cost of living advantages, and built-in discount program is genuinely hard to beat anywhere in the world. Costa Rica is next, and it deserves serious attention, particularly from a crowd that goes beyond traditional retirees. Costa Rica offers two main residency pathways. The Pensionado route requires $1,000 per month in pension income, putting it in the same category as Panama. The Rentista route requires $2,500 per month from a qualifying income source and does not need to be pension specific. That second pathway opens the door for younger remote workers who have consistent monthly income but are not drawing a pension. This dual-track approach is one of the things that makes Costa Rica stand out in this comparison. It is not just a retirement destination. It is a legitimate option for location-independent professionals who want stable residency with a high quality of life. Costa Rica offers extraordinary natural beauty, a stable political environment, one of the strongest safety records in Central America, and a well-developed expat infrastructure. There are established communities of Americans throughout the country, particularly in the Central Valley and along the Pacific coast. Healthcare is high quality and dramatically less expensive than US pricing. The cost of living overall sits well below what most American cities charge for a comparable lifestyle. Would moving abroad for $2,500 a month in income be worth it if the lifestyle was actually better than what that same income produces in the US? That question is worth sitting with for a moment, and this next one completely breaks the rules. Albania is the hidden gem on this list, and calling it overlooked might actually be an understatement. Most people researching residency abroad have never seriously considered Albania, which is exactly why it deserves this kind of attention. Americans can legally stay in Albania for 1 full year without applying for a visa. No application, no approval process, no waiting period. Just show up. That 12-month visa-free window is one of the most generous arrangements available to American passport holders anywhere in the world right now. For people who want to test the waters of living abroad without committing to a formal residency application, Albania offers an extraordinary on-ramp. Spend a year there, see how it fits, and then pursue formal residency if the lifestyle works. And formal residency in Albania is genuinely accessible. The requirements are minimal. A basic bank account, proof of sufficient funds to support independent living, and a straightforward application process. Albania is on a trajectory toward European Union membership, which makes early residency there a potentially strategic long-term move for people thinking ahead. The country itself is frequently described as undiscovered by the mainstream expat community. The coastline along the Ionian and Adriatic Seas is stunning. The cost of living is extremely low, even by Latin American standards. The capital, Tirana, is a growing city with an emerging food and arts scene, and the local attitude toward foreign residents is notably welcoming. This is the entry on the list that resolves the hook from the beginning. One country where Americans can stay a full year with no application at all, no visa, no paperwork to start. Just show up and begin living. When planning trips to explore these destinations before committing, platforms like Kiwi, linked below, can help find the most flexible and affordable routing options, especially for destinations in Southern Europe and the Balkans, where direct flights from the US can vary widely in price and availability. Mexico rounds out the list, and it earns its place as the most popular destination for American expats globally. The temporary residency visa for Mexico requires either approximately $4,300 per month in demonstrable income or around $73,000 in verifiable savings. Those numbers are higher than Panama or Costa Rica, and the savings option actually does apply here in a way it does not for most European programs. Mexico is notable enough as a destination to be worth the slightly higher threshold. The reasons Americans choose Mexico are obvious when laid out plainly. The country shares a border with the United States. Time zones align with the American mainland, which matters enormously for remote workers managing US-based clients or schedules. The cost of living in cities like Mérida, Oaxaca, and Puerto Vallarta is a fraction of comparable American cities, even with the higher income requirement. Mexican healthcare has improved dramatically in quality and accessibility. The food culture is extraordinary. And the sheer size of the American expat community in Mexico means there is infrastructure in place, from English-speaking services to familiar grocery options, that makes the transition relatively seamless. Mexico is not the most exotic or adventurous option on this list. It is not trying to be. What it offers is the most accessible version of living abroad for Americans who want to reduce their cost of living without dramatically changing their lifestyle or moving too far from family and familiarity. For people who want to dip a toe in rather than dive, Mexico is often the answer. staying connected from day one in any new country matters more than most people anticipate. Saily offers eSIM data plans that work across most of these destinations, which removes the headache of finding local SIM cards immediately upon arrival. Here is the takeaway from all of this. Residency abroad is more accessible than most Americans have been led to believe. The barriers are real, but they are not what most people imagine. $1,000 a month in the right kind of income opens serious doors. The difference between passive income and savings is not a technicality, it is the entire game. And for people without pension income specifically, programs like Costa Rica's Rentista Path or Mexico's savings option create alternative routes that are worth exploring carefully. The hardest part of this entire process is not the paperwork, it is not the language, it is not even the logistics. The hardest part is realizing that it is actually possible, that living in Portugal or Panama or Albania is not something reserved for wealthy people or extreme adventurers. It is available to a much wider range of Americans right now, in 2026, than most people have ever stopped to seriously consider. If exploring these options in a community of people doing the same thing sounds valuable, there are spaces where that conversation is already happening. Finding others who have already navigated these applications, who live in these places now, who can share what the process actually looked like from the inside, that kind of real-world context accelerates everything. When the time comes to explore accommodation in any of these destinations before committing to a longer stay, Expedia is a useful starting point for understanding what short-term options look like in each city or region. Which of these 7 countries would actually make the cut for a real move? Europe? Latin America? That Albanian wildcard? The answer to that question is more personal than any income requirement. It depends on lifestyle, language comfort, distance from family, and what a good life actually looks like on a personal level. But the options are there. The numbers work. The window is open right now, and most people won't realize it until it's already closed.